All right, welcome back. Got our fifth edition of Tour Weekly here. We're doing a little talk about D.A. Points, your 2011 AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am champion. He played with Bill Murray. He won the individual honors as well as the Pro-Am with again Bill Murray. Those of you who don't recognize the name, he a movie star, did most famously did Caddyshack. Plenty of one-liners there, so a lot of fun for him. I think playing the week with Bill Murray and getting to go out there. Had a great last day. Had a great final day on the golf course. He made eagle on the 14th. Knocked in a gap wedge from 107 yards and ended up winning the tournament. So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good stuff for them. I know the fans really enjoy this golf tournament, and I'm sure the players do too. For the most part, when they get to play alongside some of these movie stars and things like that, keep them loose, keep them funny, keep them laughing. So I just want to talk a little bit about why his swing's so good, and why I think that you at home can benefit from watching a little bit about a little bit of his golf swing. For those of you who don't know, this is Tour Weekly. It's just a little bit about, it's just what I do on my website. I highlight some of the great things that these guys do, a couple days after they win, and I pick a little piece of footage that I like, one of their golf swings. Could be a putt, could be a chip, could be anything really, and I just try and highlight, what they do well and what you can take away from watching them or trying to mimic what they do. So very, very quickly, I like to talk in this particular video about two things. First off, how quiet or how still his lower body is throughout this swing here. So I put a couple of lines here on the legs and just kind of outlining his legs here. And you'll see the legs move a little bit back and forth within these lines here in this area. But for the most part, I just like to show how quiet his lower body is and how he's able to, and also put a couple of lines here, how he's really able to start his swing with just his arms, just his shoulders, his big muscles. He's essentially powering his golf swing in this particular takeaway, in this swing in particular. He's really powering his golf swing with the big muscles. You're going to watch him start to take the club away. And you're going to notice that I kind of drew a Y here over his club shaft and his two arms. But you're going to notice that he's going to keep that angle for about the first, we'll say, 2 to 3 feet going away. And it's almost going to look like he's got a long putter. And he's just taking a long putting string back and, almost like he was going to make a long putting stroke back through. However, he was going to take it into the backswing. So I want to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to put these lines back on his legs. And I just wanted you to see how he initiates everything with his upper body and leaves his lower body very, very still. You'll see here he's already well past, and he's just moving these shoulders. You see these shoulders start away, and his lower body stays very, very still. Now there's just a touch of camera movement here, but I think you can see how quiet his lower body is. It's not until right about here, there, that you start to see this knee here start to move this way. So you'll see it starts right there. All right. So just for those of you at home who want to take something away, just from his takeaway, just from his setup, how solid he is at address, and how when he takes this club back, he's leading it with the shoulders. He's leading it with the big muscles in his body. From there, as you see, he gets to this halfway back position, and he's already starting to set the club, which means that you see this angle here in the arms. Now, one thing you'll see that I really like about his golf swing, and for those of you who've watched my videos before, I'm not a big proponent of a late wrist cock, or I like to see a player. One of my preferences is to see a player set their wrists a little earlier and maintain that angle back and down through till the time when you have to release the club through impact. So you'll see that he's already starting to set the club here. And as we go a little bit more, and I'm going to show you the halfway back position, or rather the three-quarter position, go ahead and clear these lines, and I'm going to use a tool just to kind of show you guys the kind of angle he creates early in his golf swing. So here we have him 3/4 of the way back, and we put it on there, and it looks like 67 degrees. So 67 degrees is you know, his 3/4 back. And then I'm going to show you here at the top. Should see again. We got another one from the shoulder to the hands and the hands to the club. So we got 56 degrees. And you should see this angle get a little bit smaller on the way back down again, even smaller on the way back down again, because he's going to set and start to move, and you'll see him lower a little bit, start to compress towards the ground. Not a whole lot, though. You can see there's not a lot of lowering, but you'll see there is quite a bit back down to this position. There again we have a little bit more. Angle 52, and that's just inside that arm, and you'll see it's 52. So he creates angle at the 3/4 backswing. I'm going to take this out. He creates angle at the 3/4 backswing here. He creates angle at the top, and he creates even more angle as he kind of creates lag. And what this angle here is, for those of you who don't know already, this angle is power. He's storing that power on the way down, storing until just about here when he starts to release that club. He's even got quite a bit here. But you can see he's just starting to release that club, and he's turning that body through, fueling it with his bigger muscles, and then you'll see him strike the ball again. Hands are a little ahead at the strike, a little behind, a little right at the ball, looks like, pretty much right at it. And then he releases that club around his body and turns through the shot. So one thing you can really take away from DA's golf swing is the holding of this angle. Now, some players take a little longer to set the club. Again, I'm not a proponent of it, but you'll see in this position a lot of times players' arm will be here, but their club will still be pointed out here. They'll just take a little longer. So, you know, everybody has kind of their own progression. Everybody takes some different times to set the club. You know, some set it at the top. You know, like my last Tour Weekly was Bubba Watson. I mean, in this position here, his arm's here and his club's probably here. So that just shows you the difference. I mean, one guy wins one week with one swing, and one guy wins the next week with another swing. But it really shows you that there's no one way to do it, but it's important to understand. And you know, you have your preference as an instructor, and I prefer to see it set a little earlier, just because you can maintain this angle. It's a lot easier to maintain it than set it at the top, in my opinion. But for those of you who want to take something away, I feel like you get that club set, and the most important thing is not so much when you get it set on the backswing, but maintaining it on the downswing. So you get down here and you kind of check yourself here, and you can rehearse this. You get to the 3/4 swing, make sure you still got some angle here. Okay, get down here. As you get down, make sure when this club's parallel to the ground, you still got some angle here. You know, the worst thing you can do as an amateur, or as even you know, your average players, and even your better players, I see this sometimes, is you get the arm here, and sometimes they'll have already extended the club, meaning the club will already be going towards the golf ball, like they're trying to hit with their hands. And remember that it's not the hands that create power. It's the rotation. Watch his rotation of his shoulders and body through that. It's the arms, everything turning through together. You know, too many times I see players that get that club here, then all of a sudden they're throwing that club head through, and that's when you see That's when you see the hands come in here, and all of a sudden they're flipping that club head through. Let me show you what I mean here. This would be where the club should be, but all of a sudden they're flipping that club head through and hitting it. Looks like this. And that's that reverse Y where you get that club head passing the hands, hitting at the ball. And that's what causes a lot of inconsistency in the golf swing. Ideally, you want to maintain this angle right here as long as possible. So again, make sure that the lower body remains fairly passive or still during the backswing, at least to the top when you initiate. And then again, make sure that you're maintaining some of that angle in the wrist. You watch him right here, very quiet on the way back, great set, turns through, perfect. Thanks so much, and tune in again soon. We'll talk to you later.